All right, so today we're gonna be taking a look at the UAG Monarch Pro for the iPhone 14 Pro Max. I've had this case for a very long time. Actually, I have all of UAG cases down here by my feet, about 15, 16 of them. You guys don't want to sit through no video of all those cases. It'll be 30 minutes long. So I said, you know what, let me just take the big dolls of the cases, chop it up, make their own individual videos. So here it is, Monarch Pro for the 14 Pro Max. Now you already know this is gonna be a critical alert because this case is $80, and you know when those price points are up there, I'm just a little bit more critical on what the case provides, all right? Because it's a lot of money for you guys to be go out there and spending to protect your iPhone 14 and whatever your iPhone that you got. So here it is. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So looking at the package, we got 25 feet of drop protection. Now, I'm not going to go out there and test that 25 feet of drop protection, but I think my man Everything Apple Pro did a drop test video with some of the most popular cases. I think this may have been one of them, and you can go look at the video and see how it fared. I don't got that type of funds to be doing those crazy drop tests, all right? Built with Kevlar, and you can kind of see everything that's going on with it, man. We got 5 layers of protection, armor frame, traction grip. We got, what else do we have? We got premium materials and wireless charging compatible, all right? So all of the normal goods when we are talking about a case. So let's go ahead and get it out the packaging, standard UAG packaging, but let's go ahead and take a look at the case. Now, one thing about the Monarch Pro, I'm gonna tell you, man, it's an interesting looking case. It's not an ugly case, I don't think. I really think it's a cool, dope looking design, in my opinion. As they say, it is built with that Kevlar, so the back plate is gonna be a very sturdy and hard plate, so it's not really flimsy. It's not gonna give that much, at least on the back panels. Now on those sides, it's a different story, but we're gonna talk about that as we work around to it. So on the back, you see, and this does come in a few different colorways. This is just their darker colorway, I want to assume. You got UAG, you have this little, this shape right here in the middle, which actually is a MagSafe ring. You really can't see it. It doesn't have that traditional MagSafe circle, but this case is MagSafe compatible, which is very good to see because UAG was a little bit behind when it came to the MagSafe. So it's fine to see that they have incorporated MagSafe into their, up-to-date cases. You get this kind of industrial look, all right? You're going to get these feet on the outside, which I think allows this case to not rock, but of course we'll test that when we get it up on. Inside, you just kind of get a plastic material. Really don't really have much to say about the inside of the case. And on the top and the bottom, you kind of see what's going on. You have your little lanyard cutouts down here at the bottom, if that's your thing, if that's something that you want to get into. Now, once again, I got to reach over here and get my scale because I always forget to grab it. But here we are. Let's go ahead and grab the scale. Let's see how much this thing right here weighs before we get going. In this case, is going to be 56 grams. So this is a little bit of a hefty case, in my opinion. So it's not the lightest thing out there. Definitely has a little bit of weight to it. But let's go ahead and throw that down. Let's go ahead and grab the 14 Pro Max and let's slide it in here and let's see what we are working with. All right, so that has a decent, a good snap once it's popped on. That's a nice little snap. So let's go ahead and step through the case and let's see what's up with it. So on the top side, you see it has this little design, has like a little dip down here in the middle. I'm pretty sure that's just design aesthetics when we are talking about this case. On that right side, you are going to get a raised power button right here, which is nice and tactile. You're going to get this nice like honeycomb material on this side, which is really going to help with grip. You already know, man, every case needs to have a little bit of grip. Along with every case need to have MagSafe. That grip might be another little design that we got to do and throw on the shirt or something like that, man. So you get a nice little grip between the honeycomb design on it. It really grips your hand very, very well. On that left side, as you can see here, volume up, volume down, very nice and tactile. Nice general cutout area for the mute toggle switch. Thank you, UAG, for not making it so tiny that you can't even get your finger in there. Good, generous cutout when it comes to that. And flipping over on the bottom, you can see there you got your nice and accurate cutouts, very clean with those, kind of exhaust holes on each side of the case where you can use a lanyard if that's what you want to rock out with. All right, so good job here when it comes to everything like that. Nice little presentation. Now let's go ahead and take a look at before we do that, flip it over on the back side. Let's go ahead and take a look at that camera, and that camera is recessed down in there. All right, so it has a nice little recessedness, nice recession, nice recessed camera down there, so you are good to go. So when you talk about putting it on its back, you definitely should be fine. And just like I stated to you in the very beginning, this case does not rock, which is a very, very nice point. I love case manufacturers who does just a little bit. You don't require much. Just make these feet on the corners so it doesn't rock. And that's exactly what UAG did with this case to ensure that it does not rock on the table. Now, 25 feet of drop protection. Let's go ahead and take a look at that lay on the table lip right here. And it has a decent lip. Me looking at it kind of off camera right here, I think it really, really has a nice lip. It definitely pairs very well with this Spigen tempered glass screen protector because it has a lip and you can feel that lip as it goes around. So putting it down on the ground, hopefully with that 25 feet of drop protection, you will be protected, all right? But it definitely has a nice little lip. So if you're a person who likes to put your phone face down, you don't got to worry about your screen damaging. Now, the fit. This is one thing that I got an issue with when it comes with this case. Once again, $80. Remember that price point. This is what I got a slight issue with when it comes to this case. Now, when you're talking about snapping it on, now it snaps on very, very confident, very strong pops all the way around it. But here is where I want to see UAG clean this up a little bit. All right, now the pull and tug test. You see this right here? For this to be an $80 case, it's a little bit too much pull in my opinion, all right? Now the top and the bottom I probably could deal with because those are usually not as strong as the sides, but these sides, man, and it may not be something that kind of, deforms over time, but I need the old fit. A lot of you UAG fans, you remember the old school Monarch case that had like the rigid frame that none of this moved? This is what I thought was going to happen when they made the new Monarch and the Monarch Pro, but then we got these flimsy plastic sides, and I feel like this right here for $80 just disappoints me a little bit. I want to see that to be the old school snugness. Yeah, it might require a lot more force to get the case out, but guess what? I feel like I got my money's worth. All right, for $80, I just need these sides cleaned up a little bit more. But other than that, it fits in there very good. It snaps in good. I would just like to see these sides have less pull to them, in my opinion. Now, how does it feel in your hands? It definitely feels pretty good. It definitely adds a little bit of bulk. UAG cases are not going to be on the slimmer side, at least not this model, when we are talking about the Monarch Pro, but it will add bulk, it will add protection. You're going to get those extra protection when it comes to those sides. So you have those protection areas when it comes to this case. You don't got to worry about fingerprints or anything like that with the design of this case. Everything is cool. You know what I mean? The grip in the hand, it feels good. It feels grippy. It does not feel like it's going to slide out your hand. All right. Now, next ding that I got to give UAG is MagSafe strength. And now I know you were late on the MagSafe train, but it works fine with MagSafe, all right? It works. You pop it down in there. The MagSafe works just fine, but I would like to see these magnets a little stronger, all right? These magnets, I don't even know if I can give these magnets a 5. I'm going to be real with you. Like, this needs to be cleaned up a little bit. Now, I know it may be the design of the case. It may be limiting your ability to make the magnets as strong as you want to. I feel like that was a lot right there doing that interchange, but I just want that to be cleaned up, man. Once again, a very expensive case. I need these magnets to be just a little bit stronger in my opinion. But MagSafe works fine, but I kind of give this MagSafe strength along the lines of like the D-brand grip where we know those MagSafe just is not there. The strength is just not there, all right? But bringing the accessories over here, we can grab some of the MagSafe accessories as we normally do. If you are, an Apple MagSafe battery person right here, it works, but when I tell you it just comes I'm not even gonna pick it up, but it just comes flying off. Yeah, I mean, let me grab another one, kind of a third-party one right here, and it just doesn't really hold like I want. Not saying that you're gonna be flipping and shaking your case like that, but that's just something to mention when it comes to these cases. A MagSafe wallet, I would teeter, and I would be very careful because this doesn't have the strongest connection. I feel like it just moves a little bit too easy. All right, so for $80. We got to clean that MagSafe connection up. We got to make that just a little bit more stronger. So all in all, should you go out there and buy the UAG Monarch Pro sitting at $79.95? Now, for $80, you're passing a lot of great cases, all right? You're talking about the Phone Rebel. You're even passing up the Mouse Limitless. You got the Smartest Gripzilla. You got the D-brand grip. You're passing up a lot of cases that has a lot of things right, especially when we're talking about snug fit on the sides. Some of those options that I just named to you have very, very strong MagSafe capabilities, MagSafe strength, and the protection is there. So for $80, I feel like this is going to be a very, very hard buy unless you're a dedicated UAG fan. UAG, I think, has to clean up some things on this Monarch Pro to make it stand up to that $80 price range. If you increase that MagSafe strength, if you give us that same snug fit on the sides, that's it. I don't require nothing else to you, but those two things I think are critical when we come into iPhone cases these days. Clean those up. I think you may can charge that $80 price range, because we know once you creep above that $50, $60, things got to be a little bit more critical, because there are amazing cases out there that's half the price of this UAG Monarch Pro. So if you're interested in it, if you're what, T? If you're interested in the case, man, I'll be sure to leave the links down below. Go out there and grab yourself up one. But if you're looking for a more of a rugged case and you need this type of protection, I did a video talking about the best rugged cases available for the 14 Pro Max, at least some of them. If you want to check that video out, I'll pop that right there.